Hi guys, it's Carisa. I am coming to you from my dirty and poorly lit kitchen to show you what I made this morning. Unfortunately, this isn't really a recipe. If you want to kind of make a recipe for yourself, that's perfectly fine. I find that these kind of ingredients are pretty forgiving, so you can usually do it without being an exact science. If you don't know what fat bombs are, there's plenty of information online, but the basic gist is that people who are on a low-carb, high-fat diet or ketogenic diet sometimes have trouble getting in adequate amounts of fat. And I saw some that were made to be like peanut butter cups, and I thought, that is too much work. But this morning I woke up at 5 a.m. and couldn't sleep, and I thought, I'm going to make fat bombs today, and I'm going to be fancy about it. The secret, in my opinion, is to use a silicone candy mold, and I like this one because it's symmetrical. It's just a square. It's not an exact square. It's squared this way. You know what I mean? So you can fill it a little bit, but you could fill it all the way to the top. Before you fill this, you will need to make sure you put it on a cookie sheet or something flat like a cutting board so that you can pick it up and transfer it to your freezer to chill. That's a mistake that I think you could easily make if you're not used to working with something like this. But I'll link this below if you're interested in getting something like this, if you don't know where to get one locally, or if you like this one specifically. So on to the ingredients. Basically, I put everything in this bowl. If you have a mixing bowl with a spout, or if you have a large, like a Pyrex measuring cup, one of the big ones, anything like that that has a spout, that makes this a million times easier and less messy. I started with the coconut oil. I just eyeballed it. I think I used about the last third of a container of this Carrington Farms coconut oil. It is unrefined, cold pressed, organic. It's my favorite coconut oil. I used to put this stuff all over my face. It's good stuff. This is what I usually use. So I put about a third of the container of this into the bowl, and I heated it up in the microwave until it was melted. Then the reason I'm not making this again right now for you is because I am out of butter, but I used 1 stick of regular salted butter, and then I used about half a stick or half a block of Kerrygold unsalted butter. What I did was made sure those were softened and then put them into the coconut oil while it was warm, and I just kind of stir it to sort of start the melting process. Then I put about a tablespoon of regular cream cheese, full-fat cream cheese, into it, and probably about a half to 3/4 of a cup of peanut butter. This is creamy organic peanut butter. You could use crunchy, but I preferred creamy just for this. Don't put that away yet either because you're not done with it yet. Then about a tablespoon of cocoa powder, unsweetened baking cocoa powder, and 1 packet of sweetener. This is Stevia. At that point, you may need to microwave it again just for about 15 to 20 seconds to make sure things are closer to being melted. You might end up seeing little chunks of the butter or the cream cheese in the mixture that aren't completely smoothing. It's gonna be like speckled looking, and that's totally fine. Then what you want to do is put this on a cookie sheet and take your mixture and very carefully, you can spoon it out, but I find it kind of spatters and gets all over that way. Just very carefully pour the mixture into the molds. Just barely coat the bottom of it. Just put just enough so that you can't see the bottom anymore. It'll be really thin and runny, and it will fill the whole bottom of the candy mold. And just fill as many as you think you have ingredients for. So the amount that I gave you, I only did, I think I only did 3 or 4 rows of this mold with that because I wasn't sure. I think I did 4 rows of this mold because I wasn't sure how far I could stretch it. But just to fill it up a very little bit, like a 1/4 of the way. Then take that, the whole thing on the cookie tray, and pop it into your freezer, or you could do the refrigerator, but the freezer's faster. While that's firming up, you are going to take your creamy peanut butter back out, and I used this Smucker's sugar-free strawberry preserves, and find something that will work well to distribute it. I basically used the old As the Hills baby spoon method. This is a creepy Gerber spoon from when I was a baby that I still have for some reason. And I think what's best is to use even less than you think you should when doing this. What I did was I scooped a little bit of the peanut butter out, just enough to, barely cover the spoon. Once the first layer was set, I took the tray out of the freezer and then just scooped a small amount of peanut butter and plop it into the center of each one of those squares. Next, I took an equal amount of the preserves and I just used the same method and dropped that over the peanut butter on all of the squares. And then you pour the remaining amount of your mixture of coconut oil and butter and all of that over the peanut butter and jelly until it covers it and it's level at the top. Then you take your tray, carefully put it back in the freezer until it's set. And here's what you end up with, are these fat bombs here. I just transfer mine into a freezer bag and stick them in the fridge, mainly because I just only had a freezer bag, but you could use a Tupperware container or whatever you want. Some of mine, the jelly was sitting too high, so it looks like this, but I don't think it affects it overall. It just doesn't look as cute. But really, normally for me, I'm just grabbing one of these out of my fridge real quick to eat just in a second in my fingers, wash my hands, and be done. So it really doesn't matter how cute they look. But when they are finished, they will look like this. If you're concerned about the artificial sweetener, you can leave it out, especially because this is already sweetened. And you don't even really taste the cocoa so much, but I just thought it would give it a little bit more of a full-bodied flavor and not be super just oily and peanutty. You could, of course, substitute any kind of nut butter or seed butter that you would like for that. Somebody's poking around trying to smell where all the goodies are coming from, huh, Luce? Don't give fat bombs to your dogs. So that is it. You can make them as big or as little as you want to. Stick them in your fridge and they'll keep for, I've read that they usually keep for about a week. Usually they don't last that long, but if you're concerned about that, you know, make sure that you do only make as many as you think you'll eat within a week's time. If you have any questions for me, please leave them in the comment section, and I will link this to a playlist that has just other videos regarding my journey on a ketogenic diet, following it pretty loosely compared to other people. So that being said, I do not have the exact count for what the macros are because I also don't have an exact recipe. And I do apologize for that, but these were so good. It was too good not to share it with you guys. And if anybody does end up having a recipe or finding one, or if I find one, I'll make sure that information is below this video. Alright guys, thanks for watching. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.